All right, let's jump right into an ancient story that honestly feels like it could have happened yesterday. It's all about how two different people can be staring at the exact same crisis and have completely different reactions. This story, you guys, it gets right to the heart of how we handle pressure and what's really going on inside of us when things get tough.
So yeah, that's the big question for today. Why? Why do two people see the exact same thing so differently? How can one person see total disaster, while another, right next to them, sees, well, deliverance? The answer, it turns out, involves a prophet, his absolutely terrified servant, and some really cool science about our own nervous system.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the book of 2 Kings. Imagine the prophet Elisha and his servant waking up in this city called Dothan, and it is not a good morning. The Syrian king is furious with Elisha and has sent a massive army. We're talking horses, chariots, the whole shebang. They snuck in overnight, and now the entire city is completely surrounded. The threat isn't just a possibility, it's real, it's right there in their faces, and it is absolutely overwhelming.
So, first things first, let's look at this whole crisis from probably the most relatable perspective, pure, unfiltered fear. We're going to put ourselves right in the shoes of Elisha's servant because he's the first one to realize what's going on.
And this is his immediate reaction. He steps outside, sees this massive army, and his world just collapses. You can almost hear the desperation, right? What are we going to do? That's not a question looking for a strategy. That is a cry of pure panic. He sees absolutely no way out. This is your classic, textbook, acute fear response.
And what's so wild is that we can actually map his ancient terror onto what we know about psychology today. First, he gets visual threat confirmation. He sees the army with his own 2 eyes. That immediately triggers his amygdala, which is basically the brain's fire alarm. That leads straight to catastrophic thinking. We're done for. It's over. And then his entire body is just flooded with this sense of survival urgency. He is in a full-blown fight or flight panic.
Now, here's a really important point. The servant isn't wrong. He's not hallucinating. The army is there. His fear is based on totally real observable facts. But here's the catch. He doesn't realize he's only seeing part of the picture. And isn't that where fear so often comes from? A perception that's totally accurate, but just critically incomplete? Okay, so now let's flip the script and look at the prophet Elisha. He's standing right there, next to his servant, who is absolutely losing it, but Elisha, he's living in a completely different reality.
This comparison says it all, doesn't it? On one side, you have the servant just reacting in total despair, his eyes locked on the enemy. But on the other side, you have Elisha. He's at rest. It's not that he doesn't see the army, it's that he's totally surrendered to God, modeling a deep, unshakable trust right in the face of this massive threat.
So you might be wondering, how does Elisha being calm actually help his servant? Well, this is where a really cool scientific concept comes in called co-regulation. It's this idea that our nervous systems aren't totally isolated. The calm, steady presence of one person can literally help stabilize the panicked, out-of-control state of another person. Elisha is being a human anchor for his servant.
And just look at Elisha's method here. It's masterful, really. First, he doesn't deny the threat. He's not like, "What army? You're crazy." He also doesn't shame his servant for being scared. Nope. Instead, he reframes the whole situation and speaks with this calm authority that just cuts right through the panic. This is such a powerful model for leadership in any crisis, big or small.
And Elisha's prayer, wow. It is so remarkable because it's so short and so specific. He doesn't go on and on with some long, anxious plea like, "Oh, Lord, please save us. Remember all the good things you did before." No, it's simple. It's targeted. He knows exactly what the problem is. His servant can't see the full picture, so he asks God to fix that one thing. Lord, open his eyes.
And then comes the big reveal. The servant's eyes are opened, and suddenly he sees what Elisha was seeing the entire time. Now, the enemy army is still there, but now he sees it's completely dwarfed by a heavenly one. The whole mountain is just full of horses and chariots of fire, a divine army protecting them. The craziest part? That reality was always there. He just couldn't see it.
So this is the key. This is the shift. It's what we call expanded perception. The servant goes from seeing only the visible threat to finally understanding the invisible assurance that was there all along. And this isn't about just imagining something happy. It's about seeing a bigger, truer reality. Okay, so let's bring this home. Let's connect this ancient story to what's actually happening inside our own bodies. How does this whole idea of being regulated or dysregulated play out in our lives? We're about to go from the ancient hills of Dothan right into your own nervous system.
Meet the vagus nerve. This thing is the longest cranial nerve in your whole body. They sometimes call it the wandering nerve because it connects your brain to pretty much all of your major organs. Think of it like a biological superhighway that's in charge of our fight or flight response. It's what tells our body when it's safe to chill out.
But here's what's so fascinating. Over 80% of the communication on this nerve flows up from the body to the brain. So when your heart starts pounding and your stomach is in knots, those physical feelings are sending signals screaming up to your brain that there's a threat. Your dysregulated body can literally hijack your ability to think straight. That's exactly what happened to Elijah's servant.
And look, this isn't some abstract science concept. This is real life. It's that sudden spike in your blood pressure when you're at the doctor's office and you feel vulnerable. It's the way a mom's own anxiety before surgery can actually make her daughter's blood pressure go up too. It's that coworker who's so stressed out all the time that it makes it hard for everyone else to focus. Or maybe it's the shock of a scary diagnosis. These are all perfect examples of our nervous systems getting dysregulated by a threat, whether it's real or perceived.
And this brings us back to what might be the most important distinction of all. Elisha wasn't fearless. He saw the exact same army his servant did. The goal isn't to never feel fear. That's not realistic. The goal is to be regulated. It's about having the ability to manage your internal state, to stay anchored, even when a storm is raging all around you.
So, if there's one massive takeaway here, it's this. In a crisis, maybe the most important job of a leader is to be the nervous system stabilizer for the group. By staying regulated, by reframing the situation, and by anchoring himself in his faith, Elisha provided the stability his servant so desperately needed to finally see things clearly.
So, I want to leave you with this question. Elisha's prayer was all about helping someone else see a bigger, more hopeful reality. Your calm, your regulated presence in the middle of someone else's storm can do the exact same thing. It can actually be the miracle that helps them move from fear to faith. So the question is, who in your life needs to see what you see?